So, every single movie has had deleted scenes, and Indiana Jones is definitely not the Force. Now, I already did a video on Indiana Jones deleted scenes, but that was a the Force movie. And and how it was and how it was more along the lines of it was more along the lines of looking out. We don't know that much about Indy deleted scenes. It was more of me going over. I think probably the only few scenes we have on that has actually leaked to the public, because most of them are very much, whilst being owned by Disney and Lucasfilm, Indy hasn't really released that many deleted scenes, because we actually don't know. Now, my theory is that Steven Spielberg just Woody Allen also hasn't done the same thing for anything for the first two Jurassic movies, especially the first two Jurassic Park movies. I'm going off of a theory I have that Steven Spielberg doesn't like deleted scenes, and he essentially believes in the idea that the film he finished is perfect how it is. So it probably explains why, and it could maybe have something in the contract, or it was like Steven Spielberg has to be executive producer of multiple indie projects or something along those lines when it comes to film or television. Maybe when it was in the contract when Star Wars and Indy was sold to Disney, maybe. But and this is going over the other two Indy films in the original trilogy. And unlike with Raiders, where we at least have some that have been leaked to the public, Temple of Doom and Last Crusade don't. They don't generally have anything that was released to the public or leaked. Oh, then some set photos and some screenshots, and over my memory. Now, this could be very strange, especially when, unlike with, which can make me go, is what's within Steven Spielberg when it comes to deleted scenes, because, you start to see a pattern where a lot of movies that had deleted scenes that were directed by Steven Spielberg haven't had those deleted scenes released. The only one I can think of is maybe Jaws, but Jaws got a lot of scenes deleted, more of a case scenario of they were trying to stay away from all rating at the time and wanted PG rating. Yeah, Jaws is rated PG. Mind you, I just find that funny. I know it was the 70s, but still. So yeah. And that's considering these scenes that's considering there could be other reasons why. And even now, the two most recent indie films, Crystal Skull and Dial, recent in 17 years and 2 years, man, time flies. But yeah, and that's considering those films have less of a deleted scene count. I could just be wrong, I think. One of those was actually in the trailer of Dial. And that's considering we don't actually know how it could ever be released. Probably not, putting out most physical releases of Temple of Doom and Last Crusade hasn't really even released most of their deleted scenes. Blu-ray and DVD don't have them, and Disney Plus definitely doesn't have deleted scenes. So I don't think we're actually gonna see them. That's my theory. But yeah, we might see them in the future. Might. Like, it would be a case scenario of, like, either Disney would try and make an ultimate reset for, like, maybe next year for the 45th anniversary of the franchise, maybe, where it's, like, every single movie with every single deleted scene, commentary, and, like, whatever else, documentaries, maybe even like history or whatever else, as kind of a celebration of all 45 years of Indiana Jones. But this is a maybe at best, so we actually don't know what could actually happen. Now, my current theory is that it may or may not get released, especially reading how, like, but I'm about to go over the deleted scenes, so here we go. I'm also going off of chronological storyline, so there was a deleted scene where two of the pirates of the plane that were in Erie, Indian shore were debating how they would kill them. They were originally supposed to sing on the way to Shangri-La, to the palace I forgot the name of. The scene with the guy being dropped into lava, it was supposed to be a lot more dark and violent. You were actually gonna see the guy's face melt off, and to his bones on his limbs, and reduce to, like, nothing. But they decided to get rid of that to go for PG rating instead of R rating. Which also a fun fact, right? Temple of Doom is the reason why the PG-13 rating exists. And the first PG-13 movie was Red Dawn. There was originally supposed to be a scene explaining how Larry got captured and explaining why I've got his name of I think the ambassador on Minchell was actually part of the Thuggy Code, and she would run into him and she would get captured. There was actually supposed to be a scene where you would see how Shortline found out that he needed Born Indy with a guy who was enslaved on the backseat from being born alive. And then you would see the death of the minister or whoever getting thrown in lava as Indy and him tumble on the cage. And yeah, there was originally supposed to be a bridge scene which would explain how all the kids got over the lava and on the palace. The bridge would burn, and for a short while trying to get on it, and they would fail to get out of it, so they would have to take a minecart chasing. This scene was probably cut down due to time, or some of these were either probably too brutal or just for time. That's the last of the deleted scenes for, like, Doom. Now on to Crusade, my second favorite Indiana Jones movie. It really depends on the day. But yeah. And this film still has a lot of deleted scenes, and so let's get into them, Adventures. There was originally supposed to be a scene where you would see Indy going through that journal on the way to prevent this. There was originally supposed to be a scene where after Indy knocked the guy out, the butler or whatever, he was supposed to put him in a kind of night case. This fight scene, I think, was supposed to be a lot longer. I can't tell if this is either Photoshop or it was the 80s, probably not. And it was going to involve with some spitting camels, which wouldn't have been too on the nose for me. They were supposed to spend a lot more time in the airport, where they would actually meet, and this is how I found and this is how we know a lot of this through the Indiana Jones adaptation of the comic books. The comic book adaptation of Last Crusade, where there would be an old World War I pilot wake up, get into a plane, but he was also drunk, and he would forget to start the engine as he released it, and he would die. And yeah, and they would also involve Pat Roach's deleted scene. Pat Roach was the big guy in the VOD in every movie up to Crusade, because he generally scene was deleted. I think it might be out there. I don't know. But if somebody knows, just say so in the comics. Zim or Campipan, whatever his name was supposed to have a long scene after he was shot with Elsa, like before he dies, or maybe he was supposed to be captured. Indy was you were supposed to generally see Indy hang on to a vine or kind of a stick outside of the ground. I genuinely glad they got rid of this scene because it wouldn't have made any sense, and I feel like it's better for the story. Originally, there was supposed to be spiders on Indy's leg, and as somebody who hates spiders, I'm glad they got rid of this scene. Those are all the deleted scenes. I might make a part 3 for the other two in the films, but that's more of a maybe with most deleted scenes from Crusade, from Dial and Crystal Skull aren't really as known about, and we don't have any general footage or some image aside from some things from, but that's where now Adventures. I will be making a lot more videos with how the Supernatural video very much took a lot out of me after editing it. So, see you next time, archaeologists, and God bless.